Thanks very much for being here, and thanks for giving me your attention for this 15-minute presentation about Baymail. This is probably a familiar image to a lot of people in the room. I mean, we have some of the most talented people in the room, certainly when it comes to Bitcoin script, entrepreneurs, and some of the most impressive investors in the world. So I bet your inboxes look something like this: hundreds, if not thousands, of unread emails. It's a catastrophic waste of your time. Now let's take a look at the average inbox. About 100 a day. 20 of those get opened, and only about 3 of those do you actually ever interact with in a meaningful way, whether that be responding, clicking through, and so on. So this is a sad image to me, and you know what? This one here is probably a really important message about how you need to pay that bill that's overdue, but you never even saw it because your spam filter hid it away from you. So I guess the point is there's something wrong with this image. I think it's why people are running away from email onto other platforms such as Telegram, for example, or some of these other platforms. But I think there are still some critical use cases for a peer-to-peer, business-centric communication method that is an open protocol that anyone can contact you with. So what has this got to do with Bitcoin? Well, I think that Bitcoin can solve really meaningful life problems much more effectively than if you tried to solve those same problems without using Bitcoin. And that's mostly because it's the unification of data and money, of course. But also because it works. I know, because I developed Baymail. I know it works, and it's much cheaper than using any other blockchain. So the key takeaway from today's presentation from me is something called inbox economics, and how that principle is applied using Baymail to save our users time and improve peer-to-peer communications for professional businesses. So we need to do some back-of-the-envelope calculations to really think about what the economic situation of email presently is. So imagine the average email length, the average salary reading speed of somebody on Earth. Now, what would it cost somebody to read the subject line of an email? Cents. It's about half a cent. Scanning an email so you can determine roughly what it's about takes about 4 cents of your time. And to read the whole thing with enough thoroughness that you can actually respond in a meaningful way, about 28 cents. So this is averages. A lot of you in this room, it'll be much more than that because your time is valuable. So what happens when we multiply those numbers across a million? A million emails costs the global economy $20,000 of reading time. And if you think about the number of emails that's sent every single day, it's 300 billion. So yes, a lot of those get spam filtered, but that's still a catastrophic waste of human life. We shouldn't be wasting our time scanning through emails. You know, even the best email user interfaces are really about speeding up the process of you being the filter for that content. And I think that's a tragic waste of human life. You should be spending that time with your friends, with your family, and maybe doing something productive with your colleagues. Enter Baymail. So Baymail allows you to send an encrypted message to any paymail, and it also allows you to attach value. Now the sender decides the most they're willing to pay as a signal to the recipient of how important it is to them that they read that message. The message gets sent in an op return along with the value, which is of course a Bitcoin transaction, and that is a Baymail. So let's take a look back at a standard time-ordered inbox. So we happened to open this when 20 seconds ago, Friedrich sent us a message, and that's the only reason his message is at the top. So something really interesting happens when you append value to those messages. Now immediately, The message from Adam looks a lot more enticing, doesn't it? And certainly we could say Adam thought that his message was really important when he sent it, and John probably didn't really care. This is Baymail orders your inbox. It's a value-ordered inbox. And this is how it works. It, of course, doesn't use email protocol. It uses something similar that most of us in this room are familiar with called Paymail. So Paymail is a way to use sort of bootstrap DNS to address individual identities as controlled by that domain. And it attaches a couple of things, a public key infrastructure and a payment destination sort of generator. So we use that technology in Baymail so that we can send payment to a user and so that we can encrypt to that user's PKI. It also means that we can do two cool things with immutable storage on BSV. We can not only store the message itself, so there's a record that that message has been sent to that particular person at that particular time, but it also means that we can do read receipts. That means there is an immutable record that both parties have read this message. So it's a perfect platform for business communications where it's important that we have a record. Thank you. Where it's important that we have a record of both parties having viewed the message. And of course, that means we have to use signatures, and this is built into the Paymail protocol. It's one of the extensions. So we use signatures in every single message, and every time you decrypt, there's a signature on-chain proving that you decrypted it. Again, perfect for business communications. Now, a lot of you in this room will be familiar with Baymail, and I'm very grateful for that and the shout-outs earlier today. So it's time for me to sort of shout out a little bit about the lesser-known features within Baymail. First one is the top of inbox feature. So what top of inbox allows you to do is essentially have X-ray vision into somebody's inbox. Not to see the private messages, of course, but it's price discovery. So again, think inbox economics. You've got price discovery for somebody's attention now. So the top of the inbox for Bitcoin SV channel, shout out to Shem if he's in the room. He's a very popular man, so $26.63 is the top of his inbox. If you want his attention, if you want to be the first message in that value ordered inbox, you're going to have to pay more than $26.63. The second feature I wanted to talk about is paid content. So this is in alpha as of 2 weeks ago or so. And I guess today is the launch of beta. We'll see how it goes with some of the extra traffic. So this is an example of how you would compose paid content on Baymail. Just like a normal Baymail, you put the content in, and at the top is the paid content. Underneath, what you're doing is you're setting the decrypt value. So this is what the recipient pays in order to see the message. Beneath that, you've got a one-sentence pitch for this paid content. So, in other words, hey, check out this interview with Craig Porter from Bitpocket. So I'd have to identify, as a marketer, I'd have to identify the correct type of person I want to send this message to, somebody who wants to see the interview with Craig Porter and who wouldn't want to. So the value at the bottom there is how you're positioning in the recipient's inbox. So you can imagine if they have a high top of inbox price, then you would set yours higher perhaps, or maybe it's, you don't want to make that gamble. But the important part is this introduces some market dynamics to push content. So people who have content to share with a specific audience, they can find them and they can Baymail them. And it's sort of like purchasing point of sale. You're making it more attractive or getting it to the top of their inbox. Then it's ultimately up to the customer whether or not they want to decrypt that. So this is what the customer in that exchange would see. So hey, check out this interview. It's the same message. And they decrypt once. They only pay once. Once they've decrypted, Baymail keeps a track of that. And so you're not paying more than once for that content. It's a one-time open fee. So that's paid content on Baymail. So let's recap. Inbox economics, what is this about? It introduces price discovery for your attention. It prepays for your time. So the sender prepays for your time so that the economics of that situation is some way solved. And it also allows you to have sort of market dynamics in that system. So what do we need when it comes to paid content? We need to know who we're sending to. And so the sidecar app to Baymail is Round Desk, released very recently.
I came prepared with these fake profiles, but actually about 200 people are already registered, so I need not have bothered. So Rounddesk allows you to publish your professional profile data on-chain. This is an open protocol, so anyone can append data to this, to your profile here. The only thing it checks is to make sure that the paymail that this data is associated with also signs the data. So it allows us to find each other. So this is my profile overlaid with Clayton's. Clayton, I don't know if you're in the room. Shout out to Clayton. Turns out that his strengths and my strengths match pretty well. So I should get in touch with him, and I should use Baymail to do that. So I can pay for his attention, and I'm not wasting his time. But if it's something like business critical, I get a chance to reach out to someone who's really important to me, and with an indication of how important that is to me. So the developers in the room can take a look to the left of the screen. This is how the API works at the bottom there. So anyone can append this script from any website and change the user's Paymail and associated professional profile, and they can pull it using those functions there. So the key difference here is Rounddesk does not own that data. Clayton does. So that's why it's different from things like LinkedIn or AngelList and that sort of thing. And it's compatible since Cambrian with both MoneyButton and RelayX wallets and Paymails. So I'd just like to express my gratitude for the team at MoneyButton. I don't know where you are in the crowd, but thank you so much for your work so far. And I'd like to extend that professional, informal relationship by making sure that I support both automatic MoneyButton and invisible MoneyButton by the end of this month. Thank you. So, importantly, we will be compatible with every Paymail wallet. So I also can announce today that by the end of the month we'll be compatible with RelayX wallets and also Handcash Connect, because I think that inbox economics is the way to solve the problem of email, and I think that works much better if it's cross-compatible between all of the different systems. And if we work together, it's beneficial for our users, and ultimately I think it will save people time, and that's what's really important to me. So thank you very much for listening to me today. And of course, I want to leave you with this message of inbox economics, and if you need to get in touch, Baymail me. Thank you.
Hi, it's Hannah for CoinGeek.com, and I'm here with Darren Kellenschwiler for Baymail. Hello.
Hello, pleasure to meet you.
You too. Now, first of all, tell me about Baymail.
So Baymail is designed to solve the inbox in terms of email inboxes by introducing economics to the equation. So any user can essentially send an encrypted message to any Paymail and also attach value, which means we can start to have a value-ordered inbox. And once you do that, you can start to get rid of spam, and you can start to prioritize the most important messages and deal with them first.
Okay. Well, we are obviously here in London for the conference. It's brilliant being here with such an amazing community. And that is the fantastic thing about Bitcoin. It is a community. You know, you're known for helping each other out. There's less competition than you'd think in this industry. So what are your thoughts on that?
Sure. So my initial impulse response is, it's not a hippie commune. It's a society, right? So we're coming together in co-opetition. So there's some competitive element to it, of course. You have the competing wallets, for example. But really what that does is it improves the services for the end user. And so what I really like about this society is that we don't all have to build everything ourselves. I'm just a one-man team for just now. I can't build everything myself. So I use a lot of the functionality that's given to me by these other great minds in the space.
Well, you've really taken the community aspect to heart because you actually organise regular meetups, I understand.
That's right, yeah. So we had a meetup bookending the sort of main event here at CoinGeek. So people are flying in internationally to this conference, and I want to make sure that we continue the spirit of the conference in between the sort of big events, to make sure there's a regular thing that local people can go to. And I think it's really critical that we actually meet face to face. Because one person yesterday mentioned, you know, you turn around in one of those meetups
And you have such a high bandwidth and quality of conversation because all of these people are sort of aligned in trying to make the world a better place using Bitcoin. And it's a wonderful experience to sort of bring everyone together, camaraderie.
Okay, so looking towards the future, on the horizon, where is Baymail going? Where do you see it?
I see Baymail going up in a dramatic trajectory, which is why the logo is designed like that in the superhero sort of theme. No, I think it's going to have to develop in terms of the user interface to make sure that we're facilitating professional conversations, right? So Baymail is ideal for things like contracting. I've done a lot of non-disclosure contracts using Baymail because it's signed and it's encrypted, so it's private. You know who you're talking to. So it really facilitates that peer-to-peer business communication need, and it allows us to reach out to people that we don't know yet and start those conversations.
And hopefully you will with your meetups.